Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of TCS Student News. I'm your host, Aidan.
And I'm your host, Jayla. Let's get into the news. Our first story is about Hong Kong. In the last few months, there have been a number of protests in Hong Kong. The civilians are not happy with the government's decision and are making that very clear. The PLA, or the People's Liberation Army, has had an encounter with the civilian protesters. They were seen with laser pointers on guns being pointed at the crowd. The incident is believed to be the first known interaction between the PLA and protesters during the 18 weeks of anti-governmental demonstrations. Violent protests are beginning to break out. On Friday, the protesters were throwing petrol bombs and the police were responding back with pepper spray and tear gas. One police officer shot a 14-year-old boy in the leg after being attacked by protesters. This was the second time deadly force has been used against the protesters. The first time was during clashes on October 1st. This is a very complicated issue and can be very difficult to figure out who was right and who was wrong. Both sides have very good points. We really hope that this conflict can get resolved with the least amount of violence and chaos as possible.
I hope that the government and the civilians can find a way to resolve this conflict quickly and peacefully. Moving over to the Western Hemisphere, anyone seeking to migrate to the U.S. legally will now have to get health insurance before they can do so. Donald Trump says that the American taxpayers are having to pay for immigrants who do not have health care. Anyone applying for an entry visa must show that they will have health care coverage within 30 days of entering the country, or that they will have money to cover, quote, reasonably foreseeable medical costs. There will be some exceptions to this rule, though. Refugees, asylum seekers, unaccompanied minors, and Iraqis or Afghanis seeking a special immigrant visa and holding these visas before November 3rd would be exempt from the requirement. Trump's order states that data shows that lawful immigrants are about 3 times more likely than United citizens to lack health insurance. The new restriction is part of a broader strategy to reduce the number of immigrants entering the United States.
This story has a lot going on. I hope that this administration can find ways to allow more people into the country. I generally do not agree with their plan to keep immigrants out because I believe that they add a lot to our country.
Now, let's jump right into some TCS news.
On Friday of last week, we watched a movie called The Freedom Writers. This movie is about a teacher named Erin Guwell. She goes to a school that is thought to be non-teachable. The students there were often in gangs and did purely what they had to do to survive. She recognized this and realized that through extensive time with the students, she could get through to them. She gave the students a valuable education and really gave these students a chance. She taught a group of teens who went through a lot of gun violence how to love to read, write, and truly want to learn. At one point, she gave them journals for them to write whatever they felt and whatever they thought, and she learned a lot about their lives. They grew a bond and became a family. This movie is based off a true story. Even though I have seen this movie before, it was as amazing as it was the first time I've watched it. This movie really ties into TCS. We have small classes that often get compared to a family-like structure. We are all also very close and we form bonds.
I love this movie too, Jayla. It was an amazing way to spend our Friday. Next up, we would like to thank everyone this week for the great lunches. We would like to send appreciation to Miss Gail for the delicious baked beans, hot dogs, and potato salad. To Miss Peg for the amazing tortellini with sausage, the Caesar salad, and the fruit. To Miss Carol for the chicken salad sandwiches. To Miss Lynn for the tasty, delicious deli sandwiches and chips. And to my personal favorite of the week, Miss Jenny's tacos. We really appreciated each and every one of you. We know that it is a sacrifice, and we are so thankful for all of you.
On Tuesday, the freshmen had a CSI lab with Halton, Sean, Gabby, and Isha. They came in and spoke to us about different chemical and physical reactions. To demonstrate a chemical reaction in class, we took a balloon, baking soda, and white vinegar. We put the vinegar into a bottle and then we put the baking soda inside the balloon and covered the top with the balloon. We then let the baking soda and vinegar mix and gases were produced and it inflated the balloon. When the gases were formed, it takes up more space than a solid or a liquid, so it inflated the balloon. The gas that was created was carbon dioxide.
Similarly, on Thursday last week, we had Miss Elaine from NASA Goddard come in and speak with us. As some of you might know from last year, we had a weekly seminar called Space Lab with Miss Elaine. She was teaching us about sun and space. We built our own versions of rovers. She also agreed to come back and teach us this year too, but only to the juniors and seniors for now. We recently started watching a movie called First Man in Space Lab. It is a very powerful movie about the life of Neil Armstrong. He faced so much adversity in his life, and he is honestly such an inspiration because he still pushed through to be one of the bravest people of his time. It would take an incredibly strong person to do what he did. The movie is amazing. I can't wait to continue with Space Lab and to see where it will take us. Thank you so much, Miss Elaine.
On another note, a student named Manuel has been taking up rapping. Manuel is a new student to the school. He is in his freshman year, and he is already an absolute beast on the microphone. He did a little rapping for us at the school, and even though I couldn't understand a word he was saying because it was in Spanish, the beat and the way it flowed was incredible. I was honestly shocked. He has been competing in rap competitions on Sundays, and a few weeks ago, he even got second place in one of his competitions. Keep up the good work.
On Saturday, another student, Jayla, went to an event with her sponsor called Painting with a Twist. At this event, she and her sponsor did a step-by-step painting of a dream catcher. This event was held by an organization called Sister Circle, which is a program that she is currently enrolled in. This program helps young women starting in the 6th grade to become successful women. This program helps young women find good jobs and high schools that will suit their needs.
Just a quick reminder, next week on Thursday the 17th, TCS is having a sponsor meeting, and we hope to see many faces of family and supporters.
On Tuesday morning, 2 women came into the school and spoke with us for a few minutes. They were from the Krieger Foundation. Miss Jen and Miss Brooke came and represented their foundation. Their foundation is one of the many foundations that fund the school. The foundation has funded the school for approximately 14 years. They believed in the school even when it was not in its most successful stages. The school would not be as great as it is today if the Krieger Foundation didn't support the school through its tough times. Thank you all for so much support. We are eternally grateful.
Around the school, a group of students started the Greenhouse Project. They are growing various spices and things like garden beans, basil, and gourmet lettuce. We are growing different foods for a fundraiser that will take place one day later this year, where the school will sell the foods that we will be able to cultivate and grow.
Alrighty, everyone. On that note, we're going to wrap up this week's edition of TCS Student News. I hope you all have an amazing week. I'm Aidan.
And I'm Jayla. Tune in next week for another edition of TCS News.